Welcome back, subscribers, and welcome new viewers. This is going to be number 18, viewer request, nodal request. And I have done this one, I've done half of, because there are two parts, the zodiac sign part and the house placement. I'm doing this house placement again because the original one was put together with the sign placement and the house placement of a viewer that requested it, and that's number 2 viewer request. So you can also look at that one if you like. I just didn't timestamp it, so that's why I'm going to go ahead and just do the house placement, and it's north node in the 2nd house, south node 8th house. Again, this is number 18, and you can also be happy, to look back in the number 2 one as well if you like, because my intuitive messages that come through and information are always going to be different. So you might catch something that I didn't say in this one. So if that's important to you, then feel free to do that. And for those of you that don't know how important our nodes are, and you're just being introduced to this, of course, just like our natal wheel, our nodes come at birth. But it's a program. The South Node is a program. It's a past program. It is something that is familiar. And so we just automatically, because you don't know, it's placed in our subconscious, we just automatically feel like if we do life this way, go about life in a specific way, South Node way, we're going to get our needs met. And it's not true. It's a program. It's a program that must end now. It's time, and it's becomes destructive. So in this life. So, but you're so let me finish the sentence. You're going to do this. You're going to cycle probably many times for some of us. And unfortunately, if you never find out, then you cycle your whole life without ever being able to work through this South Node and finish your own creation. So I'm very happy for all of you who are here and listening and choosing to bring this out into your conscious awareness so that you can free yourself from this program, because it's a block and we all have it. So let's get started. Okay. And there's no guilt. There is no shame either, because this was what you were given. And this is also part of mine for all of you who don't know this. So I am very aware of the workings, inner workings, and what goes on with this specific program. Okay. 2nd house, North Node, 8th house, South Node. The individual with these nodes spends a good amount of his current life energies on the darker side of life. From past incarnations, he has secrets which he now spends most of his time guarding carefully. His greatest difficulty is in attempting to lead a life which is beyond reproach, for his lower self is powerfully strong. He desires light, but with every step he takes toward it, the aching of his guilt-ridden subconscious blocks the road. He desires light. I'm going to reread that. He desires light, but with every step he takes toward it, the aching of his guilt-ridden subconscious blocks the road. Absolutely true, and you who are listening, you know this. And this is just a general guilt. And But as you start taking care of this, it goes away. Because I had guilt, I had fear, and I even had subconscious anger, resentment. So you get to take care of all of that step by step. Okay. He has had much prior life experience behind closed doors where the eyes of open society failed to look. He is even accustomed to creating deceitful circumstances where there were none before. Actually, he is testing the limits of other people's values. And while many may know him closely, none will know him well. Inside, he's highly nervous for fear of others unlocking his secret doors. For well he knows that he is undermining nearly everything he touches. Yet he has the self-assuredness to believe that all will go well, no matter where his sometimes immoral adventures continue to lead him. And I also want to say too, for me especially, I don't know if this is the same for all of you, but I had a hard time listening to this. I didn't want anyone knowing this. And that will also go away. Absolutely. You will be freed from all of that. Just keep going. Keep going. Because this individual has not yet established his own sense of values, he tries desperately to study the values of others. In so doing, he inadvertently pushes others off their track and therefore can be a threat to all that others hold near and dear. In former incarnations, he destroyed much of his own value systems, so now he finds it difficult to understand why others cherish the things they do. He doesn't have his own stake in this life, so with nothing to lose, he feels free to claim jump the stakes of others. Usually this is accomplished in such subtle fashion that it is extremely difficult to recognize. There is also strong past life residue of sexual misuse. He has learned to think of his sexuality as his strength, using it as foothold to gain possession of others. And it is true, this is what I'm about to read, it is definitely, it's going to be different for males than it is for females. It's going to take a little different twist. And actually, it's more severe for us females who have this. And when I read it, you will see why. In the female, this is the story of Delilah or Matahari, whose unusual sexual powers lured the strongest of men from their appointed missions. In the male, much of the life energy is dissipated on sexual thoughts. He doesn't use it for power in the same sense as the female, but it is so, for him, the reassurance that all is going well with his ego. So, again, it's more extreme in the female, and I know this personally. In fact, if any females or males listening right now and you would like to read about further, I did a couple of articles, one in 2016 when I was at the end of working through all of this, and then 2018 a follow-up which was an addition to, it was just a small article that gives more insight, a little more insight. And all you have to do is you can look up, I can maybe I will also attach it to this video too, but you can just look up my name, Cherie Banning. Cherie, Cherie, and then Banning, Baning, and the articles will come up right at the top. and they're in two different, one is Quora.com and the other one is in, I think, Academia. So if you're interested in that, and that will give you more details for me specifically and what I went through with this placement. And I also have South Node in Scorpio, so that compounded this whole issue. Okay. Oh, and I wanted to say too, the males. So for you males, it's going to be more like notches in the belt type of thing. And again, you're going to be doing this, males and females. I can tell you each and every sentence I worked through. So, okay. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Especially because of the societal beliefs. This is more like a taboo. Okay. So that's where the guilt comes from. But I also want to say, which I mentioned in my second article in 2018, that there is no such thing as sin. Sin was man-made to keep us under control. And once I found out that, that was another key point in enabling my guilt to be gone. Fear, guilt, all of that. Okay. The interesting thing is that sex is never the end, but always the means. In the give and take barter system, sexual allure or responsiveness becomes the payment in exchange for another's values. So yes, literally, we have sex to try and gain that person that we're having sex with, gain their value, gain that, what they value, so that we can have values. And that's not how you do it, of course, but we're going to try that. But it's going to do the opposite effect. It's going to make us, and also, so we're trying to gain the values, which is we're trying to gain self-worth in that way, which is their value system, because we don't have a value system. But what it actually does is the opposite. Is it makes you more what's the word do I want to use? It doesn't increase. It does not increase how we feel about ourselves. It does not increase our self-worth. There it is. It decreases our self-worth even more so. So more guilt, more shame, all of that. It just compounds it. And you know what I'm talking about if you've already gone through at least one or two cycles of this. Okay. But there is a way out. And we're forced to go through this experience too, because it's in the Scorpio house. So besides you cycling this automatically anyway, just hearing this, if you haven't experienced it yet, then you will experience it. And then once you experience it, then you will be able to see, oh, that's true. And it'll be true for you experientially. Because Scorpio in 8th house has everything to do with, we must experience it for ourselves. We cannot hear it from anybody else. Okay. Okay, so let me see, where was I at? Individuals with these nodes become jealous easily. Constantly they wish to trade places with whoever seems to have a greener backyard. And all too often, they feel that sex is a fair price to pay for all the honors they may eventually receive. From past incarnations, this individual feels shunned by society. Now, on the outskirts of acceptance, he is like a little lost child in the winter snow, peeking into the window of a brightly lit cabin with the hope that somebody will come and let him in out of the night. He is less than discriminating, for he desires such an immediate release from his current pain that it hardly matters to him whether he's jumping from the frying pan into the fire. He turns to wherever solace is available, for his loyalties have not yet reached the state of evolution that they may be considered totally trustworthy. In his current life childhood, he experiences fear of death, almost as if death itself would be the logical punishment for all his misdeeds in past incarnations. He keeps feeling that he has to fight for the things he needs, for he has no sense of having yet earned them. When he falls short of reaching the brighter side of life, he secretly blames others for his misfortunes. In a few rare cases, this individual must overcome past life criminal tendencies or residue of witchcraft. Only through a proper assessment of his second house north node can he establish the substance that will lead to a new rebirth. Here, the memory of past lives has to be brought to the surface and then eliminated completely in this eighth house of death before the soul can progress into a new set of values. And they say the eighth house of death because the eighth house, Scorpio, has everything to do with death and rebirth. The individual must learn to develop and build that which is sincerely meaningful to him, understanding clearly that that which is dishonorably obtained is highly difficult to preserve. He cannot expect to grow through other people's efforts, for if he wishes to cross the bridge, he must pay the toll out of his own pocket. As soon as he grows to this realization, the lighted cabin door swings open for him, not through the goodness of others, but because he has earned it, because you have earned it. The sign which contains the south node indicates the ways in which former incarnations have brought the individual to be too preoccupied with the business of others. The sign which contains the north node shows the ways in which he can now build a substantially new and meaningful life for himself by establishing his own value systems. Isn't that beautiful? It's so beautiful. Okay, and any of you who would like a written copy, leave me a comment with your email address or send me an email and I would be happy to do so. Okay? Until next time. Bye.